Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
How you doing this week, Dan?
Doing good. Say that every week, but
starting to get cool here.
Is it getting? What's the weather there? What's the temps?
It's like 70 out, but the humidity's finally coming down. I mean,
Yeah.
it was 70 last week, but the humidity was so high. It should have been 90. It felt like 90.
Yeah, we're still. I mean, we're having days in the high 80s now, but it's still hanging on. Summer's still hanging on. So
yeah, this is the the anxiety weather you used to feel as a kid. School's back.
Yep.
Although
Jerry Lewis already took place.
Total Lewis.
Yeah, September 12th, 2020.
Yep.
We're back to do it again. And I guess we should just quick off the jump shout out that we technically have officially launched our Oh Brother website. So if you want to hit us up, we'd love to hear from you. You can simply go to obpodcast.com. That's OHB as in brother podcast.com. And you will find everything Oh Brother related there. You get
no more links, no more giving out phone numbers and
it's all
Twitters.
right there.
It's all there.
It's all there. Yep. Got
One
your blog.
Click.
One click.
One click gets you a movie.
That's right. And it's an easy way to enter yourself in the monthly movie giveaway if you want to get your hands on a brand new copy of Memento. And so you can actually just drop us. So we have a contact page there that you can reach out to us. So hit us up.
Tenet did really well last week in the box office. Finally something. Although when you say well, it did 50 million outside the United States.
Okay.
So that's pretty good, but only 20 million in the States. So that shows you where we're at. People are afraid of the movies.
Yeah, although 20 million sounds kind of high in the middle of a pandemic too.
It's the highest so far.
Yeah, that's impressive.
But if you look at the top 10, like Doolittle, did you see?
I didn't see Doolittle. No.
I know you didn't see the movie, but did
with
you see
the box office?
Yeah.
No, Robert Downey Jr. Right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
And they're calling it the biggest successful bomb ever. Because it's horrible. The movie's horrible. But because there's just nothing and people are starving for something.
And this is this is the box office take, not like
this is box office.
Theater
this isn't
home.
No.
Okay,
this isn't home theater.
Although you can get it, I think, theater and home, can't you?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Is Colin Farrell in that? Or am I thinking of a different movie? Yeah, I think
you're thinking of a different. He's in every other movie.
Yeah, some period piece that he was in not that long ago.
He's the new Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Michael Caine's in Tenet.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw the commercial, maybe yesterday. They don't call it Tenet.
There we go.
They call it Tenet.
That's good. Yeah.
And I will boycott out in front of the cinema if they call it Tenet.
I sent out that clip on social media, and it still makes me laugh every time I play it back. calling BS on that name. So this week we're doing a review of Mulan, which has just come out on Disney Plus as a premiere access film. And I've been giving this a lot of thought, specifically just that concept of the premiere, shelling out $30 for a movie, period, whether I'm going to the movies or I'm watching it in my home. So, we said at the tail end of the last episode that we were going to spend our hard-earned money so that perhaps you don't have to.
Right.
And I think, let's get into that piece of it right up front as far as whether or not listeners should pay $29.95 or whatever to see this movie. My take on it, I still have a hard time wrapping my head around that. I don't know that I could see myself on a consistent basis shelling out $30 to see a film in my own home. Now, I did think though, okay, if you go out to a movie and you're even contemplating concessions,
See, you can't,
you know,
this is where you get into like justifying it. You can't
yeah,
justify it.
right. And that's where I think I ended up. I'm still at the same place, which is I would not recommend paying $30.
No way. Especially, people should be ticked off because,
Yeah.
you buy Disney Plus. They crammed it down our throats and I was excited, and I like it. I watched if you look at what's trending,
Yeah.
the number one trending thing is always The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll get kicked off for a week. Like even when they released Hamilton. Okay, Hamilton was the trender for a week. The following week, it was The Simpsons. But you should be ticked off because they sold you this, what you thought was going to be everything Disney, one place, good price.
Yeah.
And then to turn around and say, oh, wait, we have premiere access.
Yeah.
I, I'm
Well,
so angry at that.
And Bob Chapek, who is, the Mr. Disney now, replacing Bob Iger in that role. He makes no bones about it and being
Right.
saying that we're trying to, capture that investment,
Recoup some money.
Yeah. And
I mean, he comes out and he admits it.
Right.
We're ripping people off because we spent $200 million making this movie.
And maybe my feelings would be different, a little different, if we also, as we mentioned at the end of the last episode, if we weren't in the current situation we're in. I mean, we're fortunate, if you're fortunate enough to be, in a certain situation and you're able to work from home and all those things. But for so many people right now, and again, I realize that won't always be the case, but
right.
I just, so I think we're in agreement there. I think our recommendation is wait until early December, right? A little Christmas gift to yourself. Don't pay a cent. And, you got to subscribe to Disney Plus, obviously, but that's still in and of itself a great deal for the content that you're getting.
And also think about what it means if this was a success. If people do pay the $30, and we'll never know, they don't have to report, nobody's going to know how much they make. They'll probably come out and say, well, they'll tell their stockholders whatever they need to tell them, but we're never going to know what they made back on those $30 a shot,
right?
Premiere access. But think about what it means for the future.
Yeah.
Are they going to all of a sudden do like, and I mentioned this about putting it in the vault like they did with their DVDs. Okay, yeah. Pinocchio, buy it now because it's going in the vault and you won't be able to buy it for 10 years.
Yeah, 2 years
people
later.
Run out and buy it, and then they re-release it a year later. Special edition, Diamond edition, Walt Disney edition,
Platinum edition.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I did read, did you see where they estimate that they would need almost 9 million Disney Plus subscribers to buy this, I guess what they're calling PVOD, Premiere Video on Demand, to basically, I don't know if it's make a profit or but certainly to be in the black,
Yeah, and there's no way that's going to happen.
That's a huge number.
And
but a little over 1 million, I think, have already paid for it.
Wow.
And we're two of those chumps.
We did it because we thought we had to.
It's a service to the audience.
Right. And, who knows what's going to happen in the future, I mean, we may have to do it again because people want to know, okay, is it worth it? Should I do it? My kids want to see it.
And I will say, again, I'm not justifying the price. I think we've already made that point, but the difference in a lot of these is at least that, okay, you shell that money out. It's not a 48 hour and it disappears, you get to rewatch and have that film for, as many times as you want, as long as you're a Disney Plus subscriber. So again, that doesn't make it any less painful to shell out $30 for it, but
And
it's a point worth noting.
And I would say watch out for, hey, catch Hercules on Disney Plus because it's going away. We're going to take it off Disney Plus, and so you better watch it now. The Avengers.
Yeah.
If you want to see every movie, all 80 movies in the first universe, better watch them now because we're pulling the Hulk.
Yeah, and they've got so much content they could do. They could do that left and right with all kinds of things. Mandalorian.
That's right. That's right. If they pull that bullshit, I'll be really ticked off.
That's coming next month.
Mandalorian, $3. I think a teaser came out.
Oh, did it? I don't think I saw it. Yeah.
I was going to send it to you.
I'll have to check that out. So, okay. So we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
The point is, folks, wait till December. If you're a Disney Plus subscriber or not, and you're thinking of being one, wait until December. Or, I mean, I advocate getting Disney Plus. It's a great platform. There's tons of content, a lot of original content. And obviously, their catalog is huge with Star Wars and Marvel and all that. But wait until December to see Mulan.
Did you notice, because we both watched the original Mulan, the animated feature. Right. Did you notice it was tough to find it? Did you have trouble finding it? It wasn't like right up there.
Yeah, I ended up searching for it.
Bingo. That's my point.
Yeah, and
don't you think it should have been like?
Yeah, but now that you bring it up, it seems like okay, maybe that was not so subtle.
Yeah,
let's keep that one.
We both had to do a search.
Yeah.
We both had to do a search
because it should be right there with the list of classic. However,
correct. Like there's a Disney link.
Right.
You should be able to click on it and should. Like I couldn't believe it wasn't trending.
Yeah, and there was some that were in that list. I'm like, why is that there? Mulan isn't here.
Yeah, Phineas and something is trending.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
I'm getting really annoyed right now with Disney.
Right.
And because you're a Disney Pass holder, and I was a Disney Pass holder every year I lived in Orlando, and that was like 9 years. And back in '86 is when I moved to Orlando. And it was less than $200 for an annual. Now, there was only 2 parks. It's less than $200. It was $150 for an annual pass. $365, no block out. Now, there's layers and tiers and Saturday onlys and after 4s and
multiply that 150 by 10.
And they no longer, because back when I moved to Orlando, I loved October. This time of year, I would go to Disney every day almost. Right. Literally, I would get out of work, jump in the car, go out there for the night. It was open late.
Yeah.
And, the crowds were nothing. There's nobody out there in October. Yeah. You could roll a bowling ball and not hit anything. That doesn't exist anymore. It is jam-packed.
Well, it does exist now.
Well,
it's actually better than the Disney we knew before in terms of crowds. It's not, and I'm going back there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and part of that is people's fear, and part of it is them only like you can't go. You are an annual pass holder, correct?
Right.
Go to Disney tomorrow, Dan. Let me know how it is.
Exactly. Yeah,
you can't.
No, but. I mean, listen, given the state of things, I still think Disney handled it about as good as you could. I'm not saying that. I don't agree with that, obviously, because of the money that I'm paying for that pass, but
correct. I honestly don't think they should be open yet. California is not open yet.
Yeah. Well, that's a different situation out there in California.
And I mean,
the sky is falling in California.
Fires on top of it.
So let's get off of all that.
All right.
And we're going to separate again. Don't pay $30 for this or any other film. Wait till it's eventually released for free. But let's get into Mulan 2020.
And I think we're going to have to throw away another thing too.
What's that?
We're not going to talk politics
Okay.
because there's a lot of politics in the movie.
Okay.
Do you know that? I thought you knew that. The
I mean,
politics of them making it there,
yeah, we
the
can talk about
politics
that.
of the location. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I plan to at least comment on it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah. I don't think it's that.
it's
It's not.
very well, it's very political.
Yeah, but we're not going to we'll make a few comments, but I'm not going to get into the whole analysis of that. That's
No, but
nobody wants to hear that probably. But I just want to talk about the film, review the film, and
okay.
what were your impressions and thoughts?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Um well, this isn't the animated Mulan, so don't for a second think you're going to see that movie again, like remade, like Beauty and the Beast. In Beauty and the Beast, it was the same story, and now it's human actors. So don't think that. This is more like the Marvel version of Mulan.
Yeah, I was going to say it felt like uh, Game of Thrones meets Braveheart meets Mulan.
Correct.
It's pretty much what it is.
It's an epic kind of a film,
Yeah.
jumping on roofs, a lot of, fighting, unusual for a Disney film, death. Um,
Well, Bambi.
yeah,
I mean, if we're going to take it way back.
yeah, they killed Bambi's mom. That's true.
Right. That's right.
But
Yeah, huge locations, big shoots.
right. I honestly was surprised that so much was shot in China. And this is where the politics comes in. They shot half of it in Cheyenne, which is uh, historically known for violations of, like camps and all sorts of bad
Right.
stuff. So right away, that was a bad choice shooting there, even though it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then the other half they shot in New Zealand, where
Mm-hmm.
the director, Nikki Caro, is New Zealand. She's a New Zealander. And I thought, there's some beautiful sequences in the movie, and especially the wide shots of the landscape. But you never know, is this China or is this New Zealand? I don't know. You can tell, like the opening sequence, which most people have seen if they've seen the trailer, that's a set. That's a built set somewhere, probably New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
where they kind of reenact the opening of the original Mulan from the cartoon.
Right. Right. With
So
the dog running around causing havoc, but this
yeah,
time it was her chasing a chicken and the whole bit.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and she does this little fall from the roof and uses a stick to.
Yeah. Cute girl.
So so I thought there was some beauty to it, but that's where it stops for me. After that, they got all the best Asian actors they could find, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Every Chinese known actor is in this film, I think. But there was something, it just felt flat. Just about every performance for me felt flat. And I'll say right off the bat, like, if you believe Mulan was a guy, you're pretty naive.
I disagree.
All right, go
I disagree.
shoot. All right, we're going to be on opposite ends of this.
Totally. And this is another one where I feel like you're
man.
just like, you have got to loosen up. This was,
good Lord.
It's a fantastic film.
No.
It is. And I'm not going to, if you're listening, do not listen to his bullshit. This is a really
fantastic
good
film.
It's a great film. I mean, aesthetically, the directing is amazing. With those,
I give you that. I already
locations.
I said that. I give you the aesthetics.
Right. But
Come on.
some of the like the father and some of those scenes with her early on where you can tell reluctantly, right? Sort of having to tell her, keep your true self a secret and that whole thing. But there was some really emotional scenes, and
there was one that I can think
there
of.
was a lot of emotional beats throughout the film.
One.
Absolutely. No, there wasn't one. What's the
One.
one? What's the one? And I'll give you more.
The end of the movie, there's a scene from the cartoon where she comes back home and apologizes to her father. So I'm not doing any spoilers here.
Right.
And he, hugs her, and that scene had heart.
Okay.
And then they ruined it. They ruined it. Just a second later,
let me
brought in the king.
Let me handle
it was ruined.
There's early when we don't even, she's not even the grown up Mulan yet, right? The little girl who played her is super cute. When he's having that conversation with her after she's trying to glue back the phoenix or whatever, that statue that she broke when she was messing around in the courtyard.
Yeah.
And he's having that conversation with her. You didn't see any emotion in that scene at all with him talking. So you're not in touch. No, you don't.
I do.
You don't. And anybody that watches this film is going to side with me. I guarantee it.
No way.
Look, you're
no way.
Have you ever cried a day in your life? I mean, listen, it's like Stone Cold over there. That was a really touching scene.
It wasn't.
He says, you need to keep that inside. Your job is to basically become a good wife, a good match for somebody. And you need to bring honor to the family. I mean, for a father you could tell he didn't want to tell her that, but he had to tell her that given the circumstances. I thought it was emotional. I thought it was pretty touching.
Fell flat to me.
No.
The whole thing
I think
was flat.
I guarantee you couldn't separate the $30 angst that you have with the film. And I'm like, he's going to shit all over this film because
it sucks.
No, it doesn't suck. And it really is not fair to paint that picture for people because it's a movie worth seeing for sure. The girl that played Mulan, the Yifi Liu.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She's beautiful. Well, beyond that, she was just great in the role. And it's funny you say about the believability of her as a boy or I wouldn't say a man because she's young. When she steals her father's sword and the armor and everything, and then she's in that church saying a prayer or whatever, and turns around, I bought into it. I bought into it.
You are a sucker.
Not a sucker.
You're
a loser.
No, you are a sucker and a loser.
No, not at all.
I'm surprised you weren't in the military.
It's well, that'll get you some more favorable reviews.
No, that's just me like being angry about the politics. But no, I went into the movie, and I've been to China. Okay,
it's got nothing to do with it.
It does. It's
got nothing to do with the emotional beats of the movie.
No, it does. It has a lot to do with China because this movie was supposed to be about Chinese heritage, Chinese culture, how women are treated versus men. That's a lot of this movie. That scene you're describing is about Chinese culture.
Right.
And we don't understand that culture in this country. And even if you go back to the 1970s and late 60s, and even a time where you wouldn't really remember, when I traveled, and this is, years ago, I haven't been there. The last time I was in Shanghai, there was more bicycles than cars. And now it's like a big city, and it's got a Disneyland, which is part of the reason this movie exists, because there was a backdoor deal made that, hey, if we give you the license to the Disney name and you build a park here, you can go ahead and sprinkle it with Chinese dust. But when we have a movie comes out, you got to play it in your box office. That's the truth. That's the truth. but the culture of China is so complicated, and it's extremely complicated right now. And I guarantee you, first of all, I think Disney fumbled the ball on every step of the way with this movie. It should have never been made. You know, the original Mulan flopped in China, right?
No.
Okay. You should know that.
That's not what I read. That's
Look
not
it
what I
up.
read.
It was a
I
total
did.
bomb. So it made 90 million in the US, 10 million in China, which is the second biggest box office
And
in
it's
the
since
world,
made what, over 300 million.
but not in China. It was a
Right.
flop.
But what's your point with the
My
China
my
stuff?
my point is they blew it. This is where I don't want to go into the political stuff about where they filmed. The people are boycotting this. Check it out online. Go to Twitter. See how many people have hashtag boycott Mulan.
That's a separate issue. We're just talking about the film that they put out.
I agree.
What
but
did you think about the movie?
But
Not the
see,
politics behind the movie.
no, but you can't separate the two. You can't
I did.
separate. You can't separate what they put on the screen against what you know about the Chinese culture.
You don't think that exists in any other films? You don't think that you've seen however many films and that story just hasn't come to light, or we didn't research or dig into it? Come on, that's
Oh,
probably,
of course. I'm not
that's
saying that.
every third film that we've ever seen probably
Oh,
has some story like that, you know?
and I said to you not long ago, I'm never ever going to fall for the based on a true story ever again. And you can
The
go back,
Fargo story.
right? And you can go back to Clint's latest movie, which is, see, you're drunk. That's the trouble here. You're
Yeah.
drunk.
You need to loosen up. That's your problem.
No, you had too many of those when you watched this movie.
You're right.
That's the truth.
I was stone cold sober, I have to say.
And maybe that's a problem. You should have been drunk, and you would have seen the real. First,
Good
how can
movie.
you say her voice sounded feminine?
It
She
didn't.
still looked. I would have been. Hey, if she was next to me and in the quarters,
Did
I
you
would have
like
been
the
gay.
did you like the animated Mulan from 98?
I thought it was funny.
Okay, the same issues. Did she have a really deep voice? I mean,
No,
again,
but
it's like picking
the
apart,
difference. I
like,
agree. I
really-
agree. But they weren't the same issues because there's a different villain in this one.
No, I'm not saying
This is
and this wasn't about comparing the animated to the live action.
no, but you can't not do it because there's so many Easter eggs throughout, right?
And I thought they did
everything
a nice,
from the hair clip.
yeah, I thought they did a nice job.
I
of
did
kind of
too.
staying true to that.
I liked that.
But I appreciated that it was a more dramatic version.
Right. I did.
I didn't miss Eddie Murphy as, Mushu and the
No, but I thought he was
live
great
action.
in it. I thought he
No,
was funny in it.
Yeah.
And the music was fantastic, and they didn't do any of them. You know what? My favorite part
They
of this
did do
movie?
music. They did do music from the original.
Some,
The
but
main song Reflections is all throughout the film.
right.
All throughout the film.
Yeah, but you don't. You
Yeah,
know what
you
I
do.
mean. You know what I mean. They like.
Okay.
It went from song to song like a typical Disney cartoon. And they
Right.
did that with Beauty and the Beast. They mirrored that they didn't do that with Mulan. And the director even comes out and says it.
Well,
That this
yeah.
isn't going to be.
Which it shouldn't be. I mean, like she
I
says,
agree.
they're not going to break out in song in the middle of some epic battle.
No,
It's
but
just
they
not that
they
type of
did in
movie.
Beauty and the Beast.
That's Beauty and the Beast.
Right. But you if you follow their pattern of taking the animated movie and using real animals and real actors, whatever, CGI, you have to compare it to those.
Yeah, and I would see. I don't want to go into it, and it's just a carbon copy of the animated. To me, that's boring.
But that's what all of the other ones have been.
Right, which is why I enjoyed this one probably the most of all of those so far. I thought it was because it did stray away in that way.
I didn't buy her for a minute as a guy. Not once did I think.
Yeah, but I mean, again,
This is a chick,
or
this is a dude.
We know it's a woman. It's not. It's like you're
Yeah,
trying to be. Yeah. What
but
did you think? You were going to literally go, oh, I didn't really know that was Mulan. I
well,
mean,
that's what they're selling, right?
of
None of the guys
course.
know.
But it was sold as
She's
good as
just
it
some
was in the animated,
just some stinky just some stinky dude
Yeah,
that stinks.
I thought it was. Yeah, I think if you look a little closer at maybe not even some of the background characters in the film, or just some other Asian males, you'll find more than a handful that don't look very different than her. So to say
I
it's like so off base that she could come
no,
off
I
bland,
I think
it's
I don't know. That borders on you being like
doesn't border. It's borders on me being completely on spot
no.
on with this
You
film.
know, they had the scene where she's in the barracks, I don't know what you call them,
Right.
and she's tightening, you know, well, first she's loosening and finally she's able to breathe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you compare that to when they dress her up, you know, in the concubine sequence in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's kind of used to that. But if you're going to wrap your body up really tight and she's really a chick, she's going to have a much smaller waist. I mean, we saw her at the end with this, you know, skinny waist. She didn't wrap a bunch of things around there. It was
That's such a weak point.
like I would have said it. I don't even know the name.
That'll
What was the
probably get
name
edited out of the episode.
when she was a dude? What was her name?
People are the female listeners are gonna love the chick and the dude and they're gonna love that vernacular. So it was Huan Ching or something. You mean when she was like her
No,
the
yeah,
male?
you didn't
The
just
male?
butcher that. Yeah, when she was the male.
Let's hear you give it a shot.
I don't know. I'm not gonna. I didn't even try. Hey, I try.
You've been. Yeah,
I've been here too
I
long.
was gonna say.
But
You meant
I didn't even
male
attempt.
alter ego.
Yeah, I didn't even attempt to say the name because I knew I would get it wrong.
I mean, there's just so many.
The second, if I was the other dude that was the the stud, the big fighter, I would have come out and I would have said, "That's not a dude. Who is it? Me?
What?
Hello, hands. Anyone think this guy's a dude?"
She was almost the same height as the dude, and
Well,
you're playing into the stereotypes that it's like David.
You are playing into the stereotypes by saying they all look alike.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Sounds like you're saying that.
Okay, it's not what I'm saying, and that's not what I'm saying. But I know you're trying to make good material for the episode.
I'm not trying
what
to
I'm
do
saying
that.
is it isn't so far-fetched that you wouldn't find an Asian male that looks similar to her. It's not that far-fetched. You're not buying at all that she was the male alter ego.
So,
which is just
if this was in a movie with American actors, would it be that far-fetched?
Okay, I'll make the same point. You could find male American actors or any other race or ethnicity that could pass for a female.
Yeah, but
plain and simple.
Not in this case.
Hello, Dustin Hoffman, Tootsie. I win.
And I didn't buy that either. I like the movie, but I didn't buy him.
You're a Grinch.
Did you buy him as a chick? Come on.
No, but that was that wasn't even.
Who was it?
That wasn't the point of that
guy from 9 to 5.
That wasn't the point of that. Dabney Coleman, for
yeah, he's
sake.
the only one that
wasn't part. That wasn't the intent. Let me call out a couple of scenes though, because we were kind of in agreement on the directing. Maybe we should stay there for a minute before we disown each other. But the
that's done.
Yeah, that was done a long time ago. Did you like there was two in particular I wanted to bring up. Did you like the scene where Bori Khan, played by Jason Scott Lee, who played Bruce Lee in, what was it, Return of the Dragon or Enter the Dragon? He was the evil, the antagonist that was running around with the witch, played by Gong Li.
Yeah.
The scene where they're approaching that Imperial base, and it's just him on the horse, but then the horses separate and you realize it's a line of them and all the shadow
Yeah.
words that he's got. That was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that
Good
scene?
shot. Nice
That was
shot.
really nice. And then when they're training and they're, training as soldiers, and she's part of that, of course.
This is they're in the red gi outfit.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the arrows, but then of course when after however long they've been training, and then that really quick scene of where they all just fire the arrows like center mass,
Yeah.
tss, tss, tss. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
A
That
lot
was
of
a good
neat
scene.
little scenes like that. Can we just talk about Donnie Yen for 1 second?
Donnie Yen was like her love interest.
No, Donnie Yen was the commander. So he was training them all.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And I think
He's a big Chinese actor.
he's like one of the biggest stars in Hong Kong. I mean,
Yeah.
he's incredibly famous. And I thought this was an interesting connection. He was in Rogue One,
Yes.
as you know, I am one with
Yes.
the Force, and was just
Yes.
fantastic in that movie, which is another great film. And I thought it was interesting that there was this whole, the concept of chi, and there was a difference between the animated and the live action, if we talk about it, where I liked that in this one, she was almost sort of born with this kind of force, this energy that she was able to manipulate. And as opposed to like the animated Mulan, where she didn't really know anything. She wasn't like this
Yeah, but
trained
they mentioned
soldier coming up.
chi, and they talked about chi, and they talked about. I mean, obviously, that's what the Eddie Murphy character is.
Yeah, but she really needed the training to be able to be prepared to fight. Whereas in the live action, it's not a criticism. I'm just saying it's a difference. Whereas in the
Yeah.
live action, she clearly already had possessed those abilities.
Yeah. And that,
But again, she was having to keep that. She had to hide her chi, so to speak.
right, because if she looked too, but see, I almost think the opposite, that she should have shown it, because then she would have looked like, because when it did come out, and it came out in the sequence where they were pairing off,
Yeah,
like
she's
sparring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it came out, where she got into the fight with her eventual love interest. Not really.
Yeah,
but we
but
know they're hooking up now.
sequel, that'll be.
Yeah. So when she did show it, all of a sudden they respected him at that point. They didn't respect him. What about the sequence when they're talking about their ideal girl?
I thought that was kind of funny. I thought it was humorous. And that was another thing. I did think that there were a good amount of comedic bits, and I thought that they were pretty well placed throughout. That was one of them. I thought it worked.
Yeah, the funniest thing to me was the dude that kept putting his arm around another dude in the barracks. But there wasn't a lot. I don't think there was a lot to laugh at, other than taking her seriously as a dude.
It's just awful. I mean, you couldn't be more wrong.
No,
quite frankly.
And the thing about the chi is don't take it to the point where you can run on the top of buildings and all of a sudden you can do the Matrix dance across the wall.
What's wrong with that?
That's not reality. I mean,
okay.
This was supposed to be grounded in reality, right? We kind of started the discussion with that.
It's called a movie, folks. It's not reality.
But we started the discussion saying, hey, this isn't the animated cartoon. This is
but we didn't say it was reality.
But this is a real life action. We're supposed to believe this.
No.
And,
See that?
And then they start bouncing off walls.
They did that in the animated.
Yeah, but that was a cartoon, for God's sake.
So what? I mean, again,
but they're playing this off as real.
No, they're not. Who's playing it off as real? No one's trying to claim this is real. No, they're not.
The director.
No, they're not.
Actors.
None of that is true. Show me where they're saying this is supposed to be true to life. The whole thing is based on a fable, a story. I mean, it's not. There's nothing about it that's supposed to be real.
Yeah, but it's more than just a fable. This is kind of like this transcends being a fable. This is kind of a legend in the Chinese culture.
Right, there you go. It's a legend. It's a myth. It's bigger than life. It's not real. It's not reality.
yeah, we could talk about religion at this point and not go there at all, but
I don't see the point in going there at all.
I'm speechless.
I don't. You're like trying to
Well,
analyze
people, I'm saying people in our culture believe there's a guy in the clouds that, reigns over us all.
as is their right to do.
And great, but
Okay,
when you die, you're going
what's
to
it
be
got
pretty
to do with Mulan, for crying out loud?
because that story was more than just a fable. They believed there was this true warrior that was a woman that
Yes,
rose up and led the men.
and she did. She did all those things in the film.
And
In fact, that's exactly how the film ends.
and if you're going to buy that, you got to buy her as coming off as a guy,
Which I do.
and I don't. I just don't.
It's almost it's silly that you're getting hung up on that. Like, okay, so what?
Well,
You were never supposed to believe that she was. It was, you again. You just weren't supposed to believe that. That wasn't the point of that whole concept in the film.
But it is. It's the point of the whole fable.
No, it's not.
It's really
it would be if she was. No, it's about the virtues in the themes of the film, right? Loyal, brave, and true. It was about being true to yourself, which she eventually was.
But then you're opening the door to all of the political things that I didn't want to go near, with where they're filming, where there's these
right. But see, this is where you, as an educated male or just educated person, should be able to you should be able to separate the two things, right? You can disagree, and this is what Bill Maher would say is wrong with this country right now, right? Is that you can't separate the two things. You can, and yes, I'm waving my finger at you. You can disagree
me like I'm a little kid.
Well, but it's a significant point to make, which is that you and then the student became the master. No, is you you can disagree with the politics, like all of those things, but still enjoy the movie.
I know, but I did. I went into the movie.
Did you like Silence of the Lambs? Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Do you believe in serial killing and eating people? And no, of course. Well, not anymore.
What's that got to do with anything?
Again, you can separate the two things. They can be.
Is that like a giveaway that I missed? Why are you bringing up Silence of the Lambs?
That's on next week's episode.
Good Lord.
Don't pretend like you don't get the point.
Wait,
Jesus. He's doing this for dramatic effect, folks.
No, I'm not. In fact,
you realize I'm the one who's going to be irritated. I have to listen to this shit again.
I do too. At least I get the edited version.
That's right.
But
this is going to be a 10-minute episode.
I had to start off and put all of that aside, and I did.
Yeah.
Because I knew about the star who praised the police in Hong Kong.
Now, see, you have no proof that that's really what that story was. You read the same thing I read, which was in Wikipedia, about her tweeting something about another reporter, but you don't know what her intentions were.
She came out and said it.
No, she didn't. Well, then send me a link to that interview.
I'll send you
like today, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Okay, I'll send you that link.
I want to see that link.
Folks,
there'll be no link.
There will be a link. Go to the website, ohbpodcast.com. You'll see the link. It starts there where you have to put that aside because, hey, I've been to Hong Kong 3 times and twice it was under British rule. So I was literally in.
Now, did they believe that you were a dude? See, it's possible.
What? Now you're playing. You're trying to get a bit, and that bit just went.
That again, editing. The bit doesn't need to see.
Yeah, that bit's gonna go away so fast because it landed with a thud, and then you're gonna tweet out something with me saying,
Yeah, something exactly.
That's going to get tweeted out.
That's
now.
getting tweeted out right there. Remember that.
So
it'll be just me talking about the movie giveaway and then saying Mulan is a great film.
You get to control, like, every time I say something stupid,
exactly.
You like harness that and get clicks off of it. It's I'm clickbait.
I don't enjoy it.
I am nothing but clickbait to you.
I get no joy from it.
But seriously, I had to go in, and I know about the location. I've been to Cheyenne, so I know the location. And ironically, do you know what I was studying when I went to China?
Mulan?
Politics. I was there on a political trip, and ironically met the president of the United States, which is shocking. The former president of the United States, Bush 1. But so I had to put that aside. And I actually was, from the preview, I was kind of looking forward to the action stuff and see, and I knew the landscape was going to be beautiful. Mm-hmm. But even then I got hung up a couple of times thinking, are those rice fields? They sort of look, is that CGI? I got caught up a couple of times, but I did separate all of my beliefs and all of my politics going into the movie, and I wanted to like it. And like I said, at first I was like, I could see where they spent $200 million on this movie. It's in sets.
Oh yeah.
It's in costuming, the colors. I mean, you could see, sometimes a film, they'll say a movie cost $100 million. You'll be like, $100 million on what? Yeah, this was clear, you could say. So you can look at this and say, wow, the $200 million's up there on the screen. Mm-hmm. But it didn't give me the emotional investment that I wanted to give to the film. And I think that's where we differ. I feel bad for you that it didn't. I think that, and I say that's where we split. That's where we split. And I feel, and it's too bad, because I really feel this woman, how old, and again, I don't claim to understand the culture at all, but Yifi Liu, I guess, is the actress that played Mulan. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you know how old she is? 29? 33. Okay. I thought she was a lot younger than that. Not that that's old, but I just was surprised to find that she was 33. Yeah. And I had no idea that the Emperor was played by Jet Li. That just got... Well, he was unrecognizable. And he had originally turned it down. Turned it down. You'll love this, but he turned it down partly because of the script, and then there was some other reason. I think it was actually money, which we talk about a lot on this show. But ultimately his kids, I think it sounded like they they were probably encouraged him to do it. Your dad's in a Disney film, it's kind of like you've made it, type of thing. But right. So it was a great cast, and her father, I recognize. He's in Hawaii 5-0. Yeah, I wanted to pull up his name. 24. He's remember great. The last season of 24. He was the heavy. He was the bad guy. You probably don't remember. It's been a while, but he was really good, and I liked him. He's in everything. I liked him doing some of the narration was kind of cool. The other thing I really enjoyed, the ending. Just to make this point, Christina Aguilera, God, man, what a great song that she wrote for this version of the film called Loyal, Brave, and True. Is that what they played at the closing credits? The very end, yeah. I love that. That was great. Beautiful song. In fact, I tweeted it out because I just thought it was so great. And then that was my favorite part of the movie. You like that? The credits. Oh, it really was great, yeah. Yeah, the ending. And then, I hate to say that, but I didn't know this until I went back and kind of was reading up on it, but she, did the song Reflections for the first one, the animated version. Mm-hmm. And that pretty much launched her career, which I didn't realize at the time. This was like 98. Yeah, it's been
and
20 years.
she went on to sign a record contract after that, and she re-recorded it, I think, for this version too, which again, it's threaded throughout the film and different scenes.
This film was supposed to come out in 2018, right?
Well, yeah, and in fact, it was like goes way back further than that. As far as
Probably.
the early 2000s, they were kicking around the idea of doing it, but
Well,
but
when they started
but yeah,
doing the
release wise, yeah, 2018, right? Yeah,
2018 was the
yeah.
release date, and they couldn't do it because they couldn't get anybody believable in the role of Mulan.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, they and Nikki Caro is saw a couple of interviews where they're talking about that, how they went everywhere to find who they thought could play that role, and I feel like they made the right decision. I think
But
this girl was great.
uh, I
I
just
really thought she was. I mean, when she reveals herself after fighting the witch, and then she's riding off on the horse and shedding herself of the armor. I don't know. I'm a sucker for that stuff. I thought it was really powerful. That's when she rides into the battle ultimately, and then she
yeah,
starts
I
kicking
remember,
ass.
and the witch threw the what do they call them?
Well,
The star.
what she got her with was more of like a single sword looking type of thing. But yeah, she did throw around some of those stars
And yeah, and she pulled it
and
out,
got it right.
got her. And ironically, what saved her was probably all of the,
Yeah,
the
the
covering up.
wrapping. Yeah,
But it did split her armor open
right,
where
right.
she was kind of like, well, there's no hiding it now. So
Yeah,
that led to the scene where she kind of sheds it.
yeah.
And yeah,
I
like those sequences again, they looked
the
epic.
avalanche,
Yeah,
again, there's one where they kind of again stayed true somewhat
right,
to the animated,
right.
and God, what an effect, and her
There
using the
was
force.
there was a lot of callbacks to
Yeah,
the originals, which kind of shocked me at how many callbacks there were. Now they changed a lot of things, like they give her a sister, and
there's no Mushu.
yeah, oh, there is though, because, and again, I was a little torn. I was torn with that a little bit. That you would see that character didn't speak, but for those people who love that character,
Where you're talking about the Phoenix.
yeah. But
Yeah, I
that's
mean, I guess that probably took the place of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same
Uh,
color
you know what they
scheme and
did do? Did
everything.
you pick? I didn't pick up on it the first time. I rewatched a good chunk of it, but
Yeah, I watched it twice.
yeah, it was Cricket. From the animated, there's the
Right,
actual Cricket character,
right,
and in this one, it wasn't until I rewatched it where the kid, one of the, he's kind of clumsy and he's
right.
bumping into every right, and that was his nickname, his name. He said,
Was
I
cricket.
was Cricket. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
I
okay,
say I missed that.
a little nod to the original.
And he was the one right at the end. You thought no, I don't want to say that. No, but there were scenes that I really liked. But you compare the battle sequences to battle sequences of some of the movies you brought up, even Game of Thrones. They're nowhere near like, Game of Thrones. There was a couple of those battles that were so realistic, when the guys are just
Well,
crowded
right, but again,
together.
this is right, but that's where you got to go back and say this is Disney. This isn't
Right.
HBO.
But that's what they were going for. They were going for realism, and it really wasn't that
I
realistic.
see. I don't know where. That's where again we disagree. I don't get where you're saying anybody made a claim they were going for realism. That's not what it's about. You know, it,
Well,
it
it's clearly not a
you're not going
cartoon,
to
and
see. I mean, God, Game of Thrones would bash guys' faces in with like these stone clubs, and it's just so
right.
barbaric.
And I wouldn't expect that kind of, but
You
if you're
wanted to
going
see
to
some severed
show
heads,
no, if you're going to show like sword battles, people got to die, and
right?
that's what happens. And what's it like to be in a battle like that? um
Right.
the guys flipping around on the horses, and
See, I
that kind
thought
of
that was
stuff.
really cool.
Yeah, it looked great,
It was
but
great.
you
Yeah.
know
what were they? Shadow Warriors or something? Is that what they call them?
I don't
Shadow
know.
something?
I don't know, but I mean, it was a heck of a lot of athleticism. That's
That's
all I know.
amazing. Yeah, amazing. So,
But
you know, so I guess if we boil it down, it's we're in agreement on the, you know, don't shell out the premiere cost. And then
definitely don't.
you know, for you, that'd be the end of it. Don't shell out anything. Don't watch it. Don't come back in December. You know, stick
I'm
to
not
the
saying don't
animated.
watch it. I say, go ahead,
I want
see what you think.
I want to hear from the listeners. For those that
I
end
would
up,
love to.
yeah, for those that end up, whether you decide you're still going to purchase it and watch it, or you're not, and you're going to watch it in December, I want you guys go to our website and drop us a line and let us know whether you like the film or you don't like the film.
And
Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Mike? What's
right, that's
where do
what
you
I want to
fall?
see. I
Yeah.
like. We'll have to revisit this
Yep.
when it gets released for free, which it should have been
Right.
on regular.
You'll be like, we'll do it. It was the greatest film I ever saw.
Me?
Yeah,
No,
because it was free.
no. I won't change my mind, but I want to see, like, for those people who did shell out the money. Are you on Dan's side or are you on my side in this? I really want to see that.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
if it really is lopsided, I'll watch it a third time. But
I
I think
really
people will be with me.
no, I disagree, and I think you just did yourself a disservice by getting way too bogged down in the friggin' politics and in the
I
religion.
didn't. I put that all aside.
You clearly anybody who's listened to this last 50 minutes knows you didn't put it
No,
aside.
I can totally separate the political
I think
stuff
if you really
because
did,
if I no, if I wouldn't have even watched this movie if my that wasn't good. If my political beliefs and having been there, spent time there, lived in the communities there, um, I would I would have I would not have seen it. I would have not have watched it. I'd have been so upset with some of the things I think Disney right now is like, why didn't we take that 200 million, put it into the China pavilion at
no, you know,
Epcot? That's what I would have rather seen.
okay, right. So we don't want to dive into the treatment and the political incorrectness of that whole scenario. That'll be another episode. I'm sure we could, you know, we could make
Oh,
just as good as an argument for stuff going on behind the scenes with, you know, Epcot and the Chinese culture there that we could with the film. Again, I think you screwed yourself out of enjoying what is a good
I
movie.
did. I
You
wish I
did.
did. I wish I
You
sat
did.
down. Hey, I don't like investing 2 hours of my time and then walking out and saying, I hated that.
You're
Or
not walking out
that
of
was
anywhere. You're in your
I
bed
know,
like I
but
was.
still, I don't want to.
I was so pissed I left my bedroom and I went into
Yeah,
the
I was
kitchen.
so mad I took a leak.
Right.
No, I don't. I don't want to watch. I don't want to spend 2 hours in here. I spent 4 hours. I watched it twice. Then I watched the animated because I
You didn't have
wanted
to
to
watch it
see.
twice, but for some reason you did
I did. You know why I watched it twice? Because
because you liked it and you just
no,
can't
I
admit
got
it.
confused a couple of times. There was a couple of
Oh, he's
no, that
confused, folks. See, now it makes
no.
sense. So
There
it
was
was
a
a little,
couple,
yeah.
but honestly, I give credit to the directing, the shots, the
Mickey
scenery. There was
Caro,
some
yeah.
epic scenes, but
Uh,
I the emotional the emotional
that's
never connected for me,
that's a shame.
except the one
It's a
sequence.
shame.
One sequence when it did connect, I was like, why couldn't they have found that emotion
It's
early
amazing.
on?
Yeah, like I told you, I got it early on, and I got it at least a half a dozen times.
I think that's what this movie will come down to is
Yeah,
if people connect with it emotionally,
I think they will.
they'll ride it through.
I think they
And
will.
if you're like me and it didn't connect with you emotionally and you don't buy her as a guy,
Yeah, and but
you're going to be on my side.
that's not really your, you know, that's not something that typically appeals to you anyways. You're not a big
I am.
You're not a touchy-feely, crying at the movies kind of guy, you know?
I'm never gonna, confess to that, but
Right.
you know,
Oh, on our
I
next episode,
yeah, our next
Mike
episode, tune in
cries.
for Some Kind of Wonderful
Right.
or
Terms of endearment.
sorry, that was the movie I was trying to think of too. Damn it. You beat me to it. But
All
yeah,
right. Well, listen. Uh, all right. Well, let's hear from you guys. Let's. I want to know what you think. I
and
really feel confident that the majority of the audience is gonna side with me on this one.
and take away your angriness of paying $30.
Yep.
Throw that away.
Yeah,
Don't
it's a
let that.
totally separate issue. Don't let that. If there's any thought that that's gonna hamper your view of the movie, then just wait.
Yeah,
You
wait.
know, I mean, that's our recommendation, anyways. But
Right, right.
if you're gonna just acknowledge the fact that you made a decision contrary to our old brother's recommendation, and you went ahead and you spent $30 like a dumbass. That's on you. That's not the responsibility of Mulan and the Chinese people. Leave that where it is.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, so reach out to us, obpodcast.com, OHB as in brother, podcast.com. That's going to wrap up another episode. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.